First with breaking news. First with new information. Plus, your First Alert forecast. 19 News starts now.
First Alert now as we're finally reaching above. We've gone way over in some spots, the freezing mark across the region. But as we're all used to living here in Northeast Ohio, guess what? A nice break is not going to last very long.
It will not, but let's soak it in now while we can, right? The attention is going to soon turn to lake effect snow as we take a live look from our 19 First Alert camera network and then the First Alert radar, which is quiet at least for now.
For right now, yep. Thanks for joining us first at 4 and streaming on 19 News Plus. I'm Brian Duffy.
And I'm Nicole Versansky, 19 First Alert meteorologist Andy Chilian joining us. No alert for this snow or anything like that.
No.
But just to give people kind of the heads up, just because we're dealing with, you know, close to 50 today.
Yeah, and then back to the snow thoughts. I mean, we know it can happen around here. But yeah, just some lake effect snow showers up late tonight. I would say really tomorrow morning is when we'll be watching out for that. So just a heads up in some areas on the commute as we do monitor that potential. But either way, we're looking nice outside right now. A little hazy when you get some of this snow melt. You can get some of the hazier conditions down here. So otherwise, it is still pretty breezy today, but dry as we're seeing temperatures dropping a little bit. We made it near 50 earlier in Cleveland, now at 45. But New Philadelphia is still holding 56, so near 60 degrees for some areas down south. Forget the snow that's on the ground. This time of year, if you have a strong enough south wind and also the higher February sun angle really helps us out with this. And we're in the 40s elsewhere, and the wind chill, while in the 30s in some spots, is not too bad. Nothing on First Alert Doppler, though. Again, that snow is really not arriving here for at least about 12 hours or so. So overnight, early tomorrow morning, we'll be watching for that. So in the near term, I'm going to keep it dry here as we head through this evening. The clouds will increase overnight. Temperatures dropping eventually to the freezing mark and then a bit below tomorrow morning as that wind will remain elevated out of the west around 10 to 20 miles per hour. And I do expect a relatively a breezy and windy day tomorrow. So we're briefly colder these next couple of days with those light snow chances. But after that, starting Friday and beyond, I do have a longer term warming trend coming. Next week is going to feel a whole lot different than what we've seen recently. I'll show you the numbers with the First Alert 7-day coming up in just a bit.
Breaking news now on day 10 in the search for Nancy Guthrie. You're looking at new images, video just released by the FBI taken from her front door the morning of her disappearance.
All right, so this video shows a person wearing a mask at the 84-year-old's front door, armed. You see him there carrying a backpack. It looks like what he's doing now is picking up some sort of brush from her yard to almost kind of put in front here of the camera, kind of messing with the camera. This is a major lead in the investigation and really a new sign of hope for investigators, for the family, as they desperately search for answers.
So what happened right after the video was taken? That's the question that needs answered if there's any hope to bringing Nancy Guthrie home alive. CBS News' Jared Hill reports on this possible break in the case.
Law enforcement released these surveillance images and video recovered from back-end systems connected to cameras at Nancy Guthrie's home. Authorities say they show an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the cameras at Guthrie's front door the morning she disappeared on February 1st.
The fact that he's wearing a mask, covering his hands, so he was ready. He did not want to leave DNA. He did not want his face recognizable.
It's taken the technology company and law enforcement 10 days to extract these images since Guthrie's cameras were not connected to the cloud and did not save recorded images. This comes as billboards with Guthrie's picture and information are popping up in Phoenix and even in Houston.
No matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement.
Former FBI hostage negotiator Chip Massey says the latest broad plea for help from Savannah Guthrie speaks volumes.
The fact that Savannah now has done this recent video of pleading directly to the American people, that is a big indication that they no longer right now have faith in the abductors doing the right thing for them.
The FBI has set up a 24-hour command post in Tucson and is now trying to identify the person in the surveillance images.
Typically, before they have more information, they're going to call him a subject. They're going to say, we want to talk to him. Then once they talk to him, they get more evidence together. At that point, it turns into person of interest and then suspect. That's the rung above that.
The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to the recovery of the 84-year-old or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Minutes after the images were released, Savannah Guthrie reposted them online with a message from her family. "We believe she is still alive. Bring her home." We, of course, are watching every new development in this case, and we'll bring you updates live here during our newscast, streaming on 19 News Plus, on Cleveland19.com, and on the free 19 News app as the search for Nancy Guthrie continues.
All right, also breaking first at 4 closer to home, 19 Investigates has confirmed one of Northeast Ohio's most wanted fugitives is now behind bars. U.S. Marshals arrested 59-year-old Dennis Nagel Monday night in Wheeling, West Virginia. He had been on the run for 15 years. Nagel pleaded guilty to attempted gross sexual imposition in Trumbull County in 2007. The victim was under 13 years old. Nagel will be extradited back to Richland County to face charges.
I know Chief Todd has directed our homicide unit to, kind of all hands on deck. So.
All right, breaking news. 19 News just uncovered a second rideshare driver shot and killed.
So this one happened early this morning, and it comes as police are working to track down whoever killed a Lyft driver Sunday night.
Okay, so first at 4, Brittany Weir live outside the Justice Center. Brittany, do police think right now that these two cases could be related?
Brian and Nicole, I just spoke to Cleveland Police, and they said they do not think these two cases are connected, but they do understand the concern because now they're not looking for just one, but now two shooters, including the person who shot and killed 56-year-old Antoine Lanther on Sunday night. A Cleveland man was just trying to make a living Sunday night when someone shot and killed him.
We have a confirmed GSW to the head from this male. EMS is starting CPR right now.
Antoine Latham was driving for the rideshare company Lyft when someone shot him inside his car.
There's a bunch of blood in the car.
Police responded to Rose Hill Avenue near East 103rd Street just before 10 Sunday night for a crash. They found a vehicle that slammed into a guardrail. Once paramedics looked inside the car, they discovered Latham. Paramedics rushed the 56-year-old to the hospital, where he later died. Lyft has now permanently banned the user who ordered the ride. In a statement, the company says it's reaching out to Latham's family to offer support and is cooperating with police. Cleveland homicide detectives are working with Lyft to piece together what exactly happened.
As the public may know, these investigations can sometimes take time just to kind of piece everything together, kind of learn the timeline, where it started, where it ended.
Investigators are trying to determine what led to this deadly shooting.
It was this just, random attack, which at this point we don't know. Was this someone that was targeted? Was this something just a robbery gone bad? That's all part of the ongoing investigation.
And in just a few minutes, I am going to go inside and talk to Cleveland Police about this second shooting. Again, we just found out about this information, and coming up at 6, I'll share exactly what I find out. Live in Cleveland, Brittany Weir, 19 News.
Now your 19 First Alert traffic update.
You're taking a live look here where the turnpike is meeting 480 and slowdowns are impacting drivers who are trying to head west on the turnpike there. So this is a construction zone that has drivers reduced to just one lane on the turnpike there. So if you're about to be heading out this way, you will be slowing down for about a 1-mile stretch there with speeds just between 20 and 30 miles per hour. Again, this is on the turnpike for drivers who are heading west passing 480. But there's several crashes to first alert you to. First, I want to bring you to this good news that I was reporting on, the crash that was over on Route 2 westbound just after 90. That has just cleared out, and so has all that stop and go traffic that was clogging up traffic for about a 4-mile stretch on 90 westbound in the Sheffield area. But there's still a few issues that persist. So I've been telling you about this water main break since yesterday that's still impacting drivers on Lake Avenue between West 115th and West 117th. 13th, but there's another one in Lakewood. This is impacting drivers on Bunce Road because of another water main break that's also between Athens Avenue and Madison. So we'll get to those other issues that are going to be impacting your commute coming up in my First Alert traffic updates.
By the night in Cleveland, 2 shootings we know about. First, 52-year-old man was shot around 11:30 in Slavic Village on East 71st Street. Police tell us this happened after an argument with another man who we've learned has been arrested. There are charges pending. 52-year-old was taken to the hospital in serious condition. And in the Fairfax neighborhood of Cleveland, east side, around 2 in the morning, not far from the Caramoo House Theater, police tell us the 35-year-old man was shot, critically hurt, taken to UH. We're still working to learn what exactly happened here and if any arrests have been made from this scene, which was 84th and Quincy. It's an end of an era in Cleveland after almost a decade wearing the orange helmet. David Njoku's time with the Browns appears to be over.
Appears to be. 19 Sports reporter Ashley Holder has his farewell message to the fans.
Browns tight end David Njoku appears to be moving on from Cleveland. The veteran took to Instagram Monday night to say goodbye to Browns fans after spending 9 years with the organization. Njoku was selected in the first round of the 2017 NFL Draft by Cleveland. Throughout his tenure, the tight end showed flashes of strong production, though his relationship with the team wasn't always so smooth. Njoku previously requested a trade before later walking back those comments. During his 9 seasons with the Browns, Njoku recorded 384 receptions for 4,062 yards and 34 touchdowns. Njoku took to Instagram and shared an emotional message to fans as he announced his departure. This is what he said. Cleveland, first off, I love you. These 9 years have been a beautiful journey. I'm also so grateful for the memories we shared together. Thank you to the Haslams, Andrew Berry, and the whole Browns organization for everything. All my teammates shared the battle with. I'm so grateful for you guys. The time for me to find a new home has come, and all I can think of is just the gratefulness in my heart. The city of Cleveland will forever be home. Well, meanwhile, the Browns are entering a new era on the sidelines with head coach Todd Monken. Monken is known for his offensive approach and has emphasized the need for the Browns to increase their scoring production moving forward. In the studio, Ashley Holder, 19 News.
All right, and Ashley is going to have more on David Njoku tonight in the episode of Off the Leash. It's coming up in about 2 hours. You can watch and listen to their podcast starting at 6:30 tonight on 19 News Plus, or just listen wherever you get your podcasts. You can subscribe now for free.
Brook Park City Council is meeting in just a few hours. Now they will be discussing the possibility of a $25 million federal grant. The money would help pay for road projects around the new Browns Stadium. They got a lot of work to do around there. Council cannot vote to apply for the grant just yet, since the resolution needs one more reading after tonight. The deadline to apply just 2 weeks away, so they better get busy. Jeff Slauson will break this down further ahead of the special meeting and what else to expect coming up in the 5:30 half hour here on 19 News.
So they're responsible for attracting new business and new jobs to Northeast Ohio.
That is a big job, important one. So how did Team NEO do in 2025? 19 data journalist Dan DeRose is here with the numbers from their annual report.
You know, this is sort of an evolved thinking. No longer do you just have companies that come knocking on your door. You have to go out and recruit them to come to Northeast Ohio and to keep the ones we currently have. We constantly hear of companies that are moving to other states or being attracted. So Team NEO has a big job. Looking at the 14 counties that they cover, all the way from Lake down to Tuscarawas, over to Erie, and of course, all the counties in between. They call these wins. These are the jobs, and we'll get into the numbers. They had 2 wins in Ashland, the big county, of course, 21 wins, or 21 companies either expanding or coming to Cuyahoga County. We can look at Lake, 5 wins, Lorain, 6 wins, Portage County, 10, 16 for Summit, Stark, 7 wins. Let's look at all the numbers as a whole. And we're going to talk, you're going to hear from the CEO of why 2025 was a little bit hard when it comes to attracting new business. 2,900 jobs attracted in 2025, $188 million in annual payroll will be put in because of those jobs. That's important because that payroll will help pay taxes to the state. $455 million in capital investments, and they retained 7,197 jobs. Let's do a couple of real quick. Canon Healthcare. I didn't even know this was a thing. They purchased this building just outside of the Cleveland Clinic because Canon, like the cameras, they now do healthcare imaging. Think CAT scans, imaging like that. This will be new 50 jobs. That's a $30 million investment. I reported on this one, Layer Zero. They make power grids for those massive data centers. This was huge. They're going to create 535 new jobs in Streetsboro for a $14 million investment. But again, according to the CEO, 2025 was a little rough.
Obviously, with the change of administration in Washington, there was a change of economic policy. That change created a level of uncertainty. And I think businesses had a hard time putting a dollar figure, a cost around that uncertainty. So any sort of expansion or attraction efforts were slowed greatly until they could put their arms around what it is it's going to cost them.
But according to Mr. Dolan, they had some momentum, some steam at the end of 2025. They're carrying that into 2026. They have more than 30 current offers out to companies to try and bring them to Northeast Ohio.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast, certified most accurate since 2004.
Well, it has been the warmest day in about a month for us. You have to go all the way back to January 9th. Remember when we actually hit the 60-degree mark in January? You may not after what we've been through these past 3 weeks or so. We're going to be back below freezing the next couple of days, but not too dramatically so. High temperatures right around 30 to 32 degrees. And we do have the opportunity for some lake effect snow these next couple of days as well. We're getting more cracks in the ice on Lake Erie. Plus, we'll have a northwest wind that can actually give us a Lake Michigan connection. So just keep that in mind. Yes, we can still get some snow under these conditions. Now, from Friday into the weekend, we're going to see temperatures moderating again. I'm going to keep us mainly dry. I know we were watching a storm system for Sunday. Latest track takes that well to our south. So other than maybe a stray shower or two on Sunday, I'm going to keep us dry. Lots of sunshine for sure Friday and Saturday, which is Valentine's Day on Saturday. And then next week, we may get a case of some spring fever. We're going to trend even warmer with highs in the 40s, if not even 50s, and almost similar to today. I wouldn't be surprised if areas in our far southern counties are able to flirt with the 60-degree mark. So we are starting to at least turn the corner on this real cold pattern that we've been in. Tomorrow, high around freezing, cloudy and windy, lake effect, scattered snow. Not going to snow all day or for everyone, but it's wherever those bands set up that you'll want to watch for. And we'll be under a west-northwest wind around 10 to 20 miles per hour, and it will be just an overcast kind of day. Here's our wind tracker. A bit breezy it has been today and through this evening, but winds will pick up more so tomorrow, where we could see gusts up to around 30 miles per hour or so at times. So here's a look at our first alert future view as temperatures will continue dropping through this evening. Overnight, we're going to fall a bit below freezing by about 4 or 5 and especially 6 in the morning tomorrow. You can see those lake effect bands setting up. Snow belt getting in on some of that action midday, and then notice more bands even outside of the snow belt setting up tomorrow evening. So just watch out. Evening commute could see a few snow showers falling in spots, and I keep flurries at least in the forecast on Thursdays. We stay below freezing all day, but nothing that we can't handle. So here's a look at our snow tracker through late Wednesday. I mean, it's really not impressive. Most of us will get well under an inch, but if you're caught under one of those bands and in parts of the snow belt, we'll put 1 to 2 inches there. So just reminder on your travel, of course, to watch out for that. First alert 7-day, here we go. Couple days at or below freezing, 30 degrees on Thursday, the coldest. Look at this warming trend, though, as we head through next week. 40s and even 50 degrees on Tuesday. So that will be starting a longer-term warming trend for us as we start next week. Nice for your Valentine's Day and President's Day weekend.
Breaking news to begin your top 4 at 4. New doorbell video just released in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. So this shows a masked person wearing a backpack, gloves, messing with the camera. Now the person appears to be wearing a gun holster attached to the front waist area. So this is from the morning Nancy disappeared on February 1st. It took time to recover this video since Guthrie's cameras were not connected to the cloud and did not save the recording images. The FBI is now offering a $50,000 reward.
President Trump has threatened to block a new bridge that will eventually connect Ontario, Canada to Detroit. In a social media post, the president said he will not allow the bridge to open until, quote, the United States is fully compensated for what it has given Canada. The Gordie Howe Bridge is currently under construction. The president's post comes after he has threatened to add additional tariffs on Canada over a possible trade deal with China.
Senate Democrats are introducing legislation to eliminate the statute of limitations for sexual abuse survivors. The development comes just one day after Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, refused to answer questions about his crimes during a virtual deposition. Meantime, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick is facing calls to resign over his ties to the financier. And new documents reveal President Trump may have known about Epstein's activities back in 2006.
All right, Lakewood now. Lakewood Wine Bar temporarily closed after a fire. Wine Dive CLE says their recognizable neon sign caught fire while employees were closing up after an appreciation party. A bartender quickly put out the fire before anyone was hurt, but the business says the damage will take some time to repair. First of four, new video from the moments a plane crash lands on a busy street in suburban Atlanta.
A crazy video here. What would you do if you were driving down that street? That small plane came down in between cars, crashing actually into several of them in Gainesville, Georgia. Apparently, the plane had some engine issues, and as the pilot tried to land, he frantically warned air traffic controllers he was in trouble.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. We're not going to make it. Please tell my wife, Molly, I love her, and my parents. I love them so much.
We lost our engine taking off out of Gainesville and tried to glide back, did everything by the book, but realized we weren't going to make it back with how far out we were. So came down the road.
Oh, well, incredibly, no one was killed. That poor pilot in that Mayday report. Some minor injuries were reported. It was a dramatic end to a flight that started about 90 minutes earlier in Tennessee. The FAA is now investigating.
Well, people who live in Middleburg Heights have been dealing with flooding issues for years now, and now the city claims they have found a solution they are sure is going to work.
So City Council approved $1.7 million to put in another retention pond to hold the water that builds up on Pearl Road and the Parkway. First at 4, Aria Janelle has the story.
I did speak with a couple of people who live on that road right next to those basins. They tell me they've been dealing with flooding for decades. They didn't want to be on camera, but they told me this is a long time coming.
We would have to close the road. People are trapped in their homes, literally. Water would be pouring down the hill because Pearl Road comes downhill to Big Creek Parkway. It's literally a bowl.
Finally, a solution. 3 basins are being added here on Pearl Road to fix major flooding issues. The first basin was finished in 2024. Neighbors tell me the results have been noticeable.
It's been doing great. We didn't have very little flooding last year. We anticipate to have 2 more basins put in. Obviously, we just awarded another basin for $1.7 million.
The cost for all 3 basins is being shared between the city and the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District. They're putting $5 million toward the project. That second basin will be placed right here. That construction is set to start in March and should be done in the next 6 months. Here in Middleburg Heights, I'm Aria Janelle, 19 News.